What is going on YouTube? Espresso Shucko here, and today let's talk about Glimmora. Glimmora is a rock poison type that was introduced this generation. It's a unique typing that we've seen only once before prior to Gen 9, and that was from Gen 7 in the form of Nihilego, which is an Ultra Beast. So all things considered, this is pretty cool that we've got another rock poison that's a non-legendary, non-ultra beast. As far as stats go, it's a pretty good stat breakdown. It's got base 83 HP, base 55 attack, which is okay because we have a whopping 130 special attack. And side note, I just want to point out the fact that both Glimmora and Nihilego, and even Glimmet, because Glimmet's got something like a base 100 special attack, I'm just really satisfied by the fact that all the rock poison types just said no to physical attacks. I mean, they could have easily come up with like a jagged stone design for this to make a physical attacker, but no, they just went with laser beams. I'm weirdly satisfied by that. But anyways, yeah, so anyways, we have that base 130 special attack, we have a base 90 defense, base 81 special defense, and base 86 speed. In terms of abilities, Glimmora has a signature ability that it shares with its pre-evolution Glimmet, and that is Toxic Debris. So basically, if it's hit by a physical attack, it'll set toxic spikes. And that's kind of nice because while we don't normally see entry hazards in doubles because it's not as switch oriented, it's still nice because utility moves like Parting Shot, U-turn, like basically any pivoting utility move, it still exists and it still results around switching out. So it would be nice to kind of put a little bit of a deterrent on that. And plus, with toxic spikes, the more layers of toxic spikes there are, the worse the poison gets. If it's one layer of toxic spikes, then it's regular poison. If it's two layers, then it's badly poisoned, which is basically as if you had been hit by a toxic. So the poison damage will get worse as each turn goes on, which is pretty nice. And the best thing too about Toxic Debris is it's not wasting a move slot, which is part of the reason too why you don't really see it as much in doubles as well and VGC, because really, why would you give up a move slot to run a condition that we hardly use because it's more present in singles where it's more heavily relied upon to deal with the switching, because doubles and VGC, there's not quite as much switching done, with the exception of, like, say, pivoting moves. So that's kind of a neat ability there, and we might get to see more entry hazards in VGC because of Glimmora. Maybe more people will pick it up, and we'll go from there. In terms of its hidden ability, Corrosion, this is Salazzle's regular ability, which allows Glimmora to poison or badly poison Pokemon regardless of whatever type they are. So basically, if you're running Toxic on this thing, you can Toxic a Steel type, you could Toxic another Poison type, and you can poison Salazzle. How's that for irony? Yeah, anyways, you can do that. And then the rock poison typing is pretty good too when you think about typing. While, yes, Earthquake is popular in VGC, and we do have a 4x ground weakness, we only have 3 regular weaknesses, and they're Psychic, Steel, and Water. And then in terms of resistances, we have a 4x resistance to Poison, and then we resist Bug, Fairy, Fire, Flying, and Normal. So if we're going up against something and we know we're not going to take a ground type move, we might have a pretty good odd, or like a good chance of resisting a hit. And plus, you know, Terastalization. When in doubt, you can just go Terastalization. And Rock Poison is not a bad coverage combination, especially for our stab options, because if you take a look, we'll just hop over into PokemonDB.net. Rock and Poison, you hit 143 things not very effectively, 598 neutrally, and then 449. If you round that out with a ground type move, which is why I had Earth Power on that first Glimmora, this is what it jumps to. Neat. We have 0 things that have no effect to our move coverage. We have not 0 things that are not very effective. And then we hit 494 things for normal effectiveness. And then we hit 696 things super effectively. And Pokemon DB is now updated to reflect Paldea Pokemon as well. So this is current, and this is factoring in different forms, which is nice. So what I was originally thinking here with the first move set was Power Gem and Sludge Bomb for our stab moves, Earth Power to round it out because it's stronger than Terra Blast, and we don't have to rely on ground type Terra Blast to get ground coverage. We can just use the Earth Power, and then that way if we want to free up a Terra slot, we can. And then for the fourth move here, we have Spiky Shield, which is better Protect because while it has the same effects as Protect, where it can protect you from attacks, if your opponent went for a contact move, they take 1/8 of their max HP in damage. That's really nice, because now you're getting extra chip off that way there. And yeah, this was originally Chestnut's signature move, and now it's nice to see Spiky Shield being distributed to some other Pokemon. Cacturne gets this as well, but unlike Cacturne, Glimmora actually has bulk. So what I was thinking too for this Glimmora is maybe Terra Ground, and then that way we now gain stab on our Earth Power. We're already with a base 130 special attack stat, and we get to keep our stab on Sludge Bomb and Power Gem. We could do that. We could go Terra Ground. We could also switch it to either Terra Poison to get an adaptability boost into Sludge Bomb, or we can go Terra Rock to get an adaptability boost into Power Gem. And Poison is not that bad on its own for weaknesses and resistances, because really you're only weak to Ground and Psychic with the Poison type. So you could do that. You could go Terra Poison, go Sludge Bomb. Now you're at base 180 after your stab boost. Or we could go Terra Rock, because Tyranitar is in the game. Tyranitar sets up sand. And the nice thing about sandstorms too is Pokemon get 50% special defense boost that are rock type in the sand. So we could do that for Glimmora, because Glimmora's base 81 special defense isn't bad. And if we even wanted to factor that in, we could go 68 points into our special defense to hit 110, have a sandstorm on the field. We get a 50% boost. That's another 55 points. So we're now sitting at 165. We could do something like that. And on that note, let's take a look at the EV spread that I was thinking for Glimmora here. This isn't really a final EV spread, but it's a work in progress. What I was thinking is if we go with a modest nature and max special attack investment, we hit 200 points. That's pretty good. We only need 4 points in speed to hit that magic 107 number to outspeed Dragapult under Tailwind, which is nice. And then I was just kind of going from there, like factoring in like maybe some sandstorm numbers, or even just if we had a means of having our defense and special defense boosted. I was thinking 110 is probably a nice number. And same with 113, because if we go with Reflect and Light Screen, like maybe we slap a Grimmsnarl or a Klefki on here with screens, we could get a fast, reliable screen up, which would help our defenses, especially if we already had terastalized Glimmora at that point. We can then reduce the damage that's coming our way, especially if we get rid of that 4 times ground weakness somehow. And even if we just switch to ground ourselves, we'd only be weak to water and grass. Hey, post-editing / recording Shucko here. I realized I made a mistake when I was filming the Glimmora video. When I was talking about going into Terra Ground, I said you only had 2 weaknesses to worry about. I completely forgot that the Ice type is a thing, so actually it's 3 weaknesses. I know, rookie mistake, amateur. This is why I'm at the bottom of the ladder. But no, anyways. I forgot to mention, you do have to worry about the ice typing if you go into Terra Ground. That said, like grass, you're still super effective against ice with one of your stabs. So yeah, anyways, just ignore the comments about the 2 weaknesses, because you're actually weak to water, grass, and ice. But that said, your rock stab still hits ice type super effectively. Your poison stab hits grass super effectively. So really, You gotta be just careful with the water types because you don't have a direct counterplay. But anyways, back to the video. Another thing I was thinking with Glimmora here too is you could go Acid Spray, like to maybe set things up. Like Glimmora's got that huge special attack stat. We can go with Acid Spray. Maybe we go Terra Poison. Acid Spray will double from the Terra Poison boost. And the other thing too is low-powered moves that are under 60. If they're the same type, they also get boosted when you terastalize, which I just found that out when I was looking through the mechanics on Cerebi, that there's a note about low power base moves. So if I understand this correctly, Acid Spray would be going up to base 60 and then getting the adaptability boost. So that could be good. And if I'm completely wrong, well, base 80 with -2 guaranteed Bidef drop is not bad at all. I mean, Esparfa gets that with, or Espafra, however you say it, the ostrich. Its signature move, same idea, but psychic type damage that's already sitting at base 80, so Acid Spray might have gotten the buff that it needed in this generation thanks to terastalization regardless. But that's not all we can do with Glimmora here. We could just take that off. And like I said, Poison's not a bad type to have as our Terra type either, because we're only weak to Ground and Psychic. And this thing does get a lot of coverage. We can go Earth Power, we can go Energy Ball, it gets Flash Cannon. Let's see, we get Sludge Wave as an alternative, like a spread move for poison type attacks. We can go with that. Yeah, like that's pretty good for doubles. And then the other thing too is and this is probably going to be more of a singles thing than a doubles thing, but it does get a signature move in the form of Mortal Spin, which is basically a poison type version of Rapid Spin where it removes hazards, but whereas it differs from Rapid Spin is it poisons the foe that gets hit with it. Sorry about that, phone went off there. But yeah, anyways, what I was saying is Mortal Spin kind of differs from Rapid Spin, whereas instead of getting a speed boost, you poison the foes that you hit, on top of removing hazards yourself, which is pretty nice. But that's probably going to be more of a singles thing than a doubles thing, especially whereas it doesn't have the guaranteed speed boost. But that said, that would be really nice on Glimmora. The other thing you could do too, that I was thinking was maybe Choice Specs. Choice Specs or Choice Scarf, like really, like you can just grab really good coverage. Like you can go Earth Power, you can go Power Gem, and Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave. Like I said about rounding out the type coverage, especially where Sludge Wave is a spread move, and if you have a Steel type on the field next to you, or a Telepathy Mon, like say Gardevoir or Oranguru, you could do something like that to get out of potentially hitting your partner and then being a spread move to hit your opponents. And another thing too, now that I'm thinking about it, is Earth Power is really nice because a lot of Golden Go tend to run Terra Steel, and their signature move is a Steel type move, so you could run with the Earth Power to hit them super effectively, especially if you want to run the Choice Specs. You can go Flash Cannon too, get a little bit of extra punishment onto Fairy types, but really that's kind of a little bit redundant. Like maybe you'd want to use that for, I can't even say Ice types because you have the Power Gem too, so maybe you could even go with something else. Like maybe you wanted to go like maybe Terra Blast, maybe you want to run Terra Fire for some reason, like maybe to hit Steel types. But again, you have the Earth Power. So really, I mean really, these are the three moves that you really need. But if you wanted some extra damage, like, I don't know, maybe you wanted to run like say, Mudshot just to get the guaranteed speed drop. But yeah, I kind of don't know where I'm going with this now, because really I was thinking like Flash Cannon would be nice because you're hitting Fairy types, but you have the poison built in for that. You could run Dazzling Gleam and hit Dark types. Yeah, that's probably the best move for that 4th slot is Dazzling Gleam, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking for a straight up like spec set for Glimmora. And then finally, I did mention it, this thing does get Toxic. Maybe you want to run like a Toxic stall set. Maybe you want to run Toxic with Spiky Shield. Maybe earth power just to hit steel types. This case here, you could probably make a case for corrosion. You could run toxic, and then this way nothing's immune to your poison. You can run spiky shield just to burn out some turns. Maybe run leftovers or black sludge, depending on, maybe you want to go Terra ground, and then that way you can get a little bit of extra damage into your earth power. Maybe invest into max HP and most of your defenses there, something like that. But yeah, Glimmora is a cool mod. And plus, you can also run Confuse Ray too, because maybe you want to really, really cause some rage-inducing moments, poison your opponent, protect, confuse them, protect again. Maybe they hit themselves, maybe they just hit your shield, take some damage. That could be fun in a evil sort of way. Would that be lawful evil or would that be chaotic evil? I don't know. But yeah, anyways, that's what I was thinking about Glimmora there. Let me know if you guys like it. I think it's a pretty cool Pokemon, all things considered. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to trying this thing out myself. I will see you guys next time.